Well, this video started a bit nicer than the last one, eh? So in case you hadn't seen already, the big fire that we had last week has now gone out in resolution. I think there's still sort of hot spots, but there's enough like men on the ground, people on the ground that are looking after it. So fingers crossed. We're still quite away from our first rain forecast, so we're still in high risk fire until then. But yeah, things are a lot calmer. There's no smoke in the sky. It did end up being Portugal's largest ever wildfire in terms of the space it burnt. I'll put the amount on the screen here. It was a lot. The fire got very close to Nick and Angie's. Go and check out their video if you haven't seen it. And it's coinciding with it still cooling down a bit. We've had a couple of like 32 to 33 degree days. You're right there, Joao. But yeah, otherwise it's all good. We've got a couple of doctor's appointments this week for, well, I say we, Carissa has. Yesterday we had to go and have a glucose test, which we hadn't been prepped for. And Carissa doesn't consume that much sugar anyway, so when she had the glucose solution, let's say it didn't react too well with her stomach. So we got out of waiting for 2 hours till the end of the test. So I think we'll be passing on that particular test. And yeah, now we have a doctor's appointment in a couple of hours. So the plan was to pick grapes this morning. I think they're ready, but I need to pop into town and go and get some bits. So I think I'm pretty much going to finish my coffee and then go and do that. That's one grapevine there, guys. Loads. So just to try and preempt some of your questions, these are not on terraces because they're not grown to any particular method, i.e. the Guyot method or whatever. So these are known as bush vines. They're very, very common, especially in Iberia, also in like Greece and a lot of the other hot climates. Because grapes can do perfectly fine without being on trellises, but it means that picking is a bit more difficult. And there was half a plan that we would trellis this entire border with like fence it and then grow the vines up the terraces, but because our neighbour doesn't ever come here and doesn't clean the ground, then it would cause us a lot more trouble than it would anything else, because we'd also have the grass growing in between the fence. So I'll keep it like this for now. You never know, we may do it in the future. But yeah, the Portuguese have been growing grapes like these for probably 1,000 years, so it all works pretty well. The eagle-eyed amongst you may notice that some of these grapes aren't fully red yet. Some of them do that, and otherwise it's actually quite good for adding a bit of acidity into the wine, especially in like such a hot climate and high sugar content in the grapes. It actually works quite nicely. No? Yeah, good.
This video is kindly sponsored by Squarespace. The last few years I've been building an online space to share my artwork in a simple, beautiful way, and for this I've been using Squarespace to create my website and print shop Calm Lines. Squarespace is an all-in-one platform that makes setting up an online shop effortless, even if you're not very techy. I can easily upload new prints, customize how they're displayed, and create a shop that feels calm and easy to navigate. Their design intelligence is a brilliant tool that combines 20 years of design expertise with AI to instantly create a layout tailored to you. You just answer a few simple questions about your style, goals, and the feel you want for your site. It is such a relief to have a bespoke starting point rather than beginning with a blank page. You can then customize everything further, tweaking fonts, colors, and layout until it feels like it fits you. So whether you're starting your first creative project or growing an existing business, head to to squarespace.com/FrankieOffGrid for a free trial and save 10% on your first purchase of a website or domain using our code FrankieOffGrid. You'll find a link in the description below, and a big thank you to Squarespace for sponsoring this video.
Session, we should be good to go. Right, we have this much, 50-ish litres, but obviously that's unpressed. We need 60-ish litres to go to fill the tank that we have. Actually, later on today, funnily enough, we're meeting one of you guys in a village near us to take the other tank, the big tank. And it's quite ironic because we probably have enough grapes to fill it this year for the first time ever. But we don't want to because we have nowhere to keep the tank, because the plan is to start work on this room as soon as summer finishes, which we're pretty much there, so soon.
Good afternoon, guys. I wanted to do a check-in. I've unfortunately taken a turn for the worse. I'm feeling very full of flu and cold. I've just had a nice big sleep. I'm really gutted because I love doing grape harvest, but yeah, I'm not feeling well. Nothing too serious. I think it's just some sort of flu-y, coldy thing. Apparently there's something going around in this area, so I've just picked that up. I don't get ill very often. It's probably like once a year, and I do think stress causes a lot of it makes your immune system less strong, so I think probably the stress of last week hasn't helped. But as Iwan mentioned, we did go to the doctors, so I just wanted to let you know that everything is looking really good with baby Bob, as my niece Olive has named my bump. Yeah, my blood's always coming back really well. Yeah, yesterday we did the blood test and this glucose test we're supposed to do. I don't know if it's everywhere else, but it's a Portuguese test they do here in Portugal. I think they're testing for diabetes, and they make you drink this glucose solution, and I didn't stomach it, so we weren't able to do the test, but the doctor didn't seem particularly concerned. So yeah, everything's looking well apart from this flu, and I don't know how much of a check-in Iwan's done about the fire situation from last week, and yeah, it's all in resolution. We're currently still in high fire risk, but there are none alight at the moment, and the energy just feels so different. It was such a heavy week last week, so it's feeling a lot better. I'd rather be ill than surrounded by wildfire, obviously. One nice thing about being ill is Iwan he just is so caring whenever I'm sick. He's just instinctively very good at looking after me, and always brings me lots of like drinks and fruit, and always checking in, so it makes being ill less horrible because I'm being very well looked after. But yeah, hopefully this clears up soon. One thing I had wanted to share with you guys this week is I've made a calendar. We needed one ourselves actually. I wanted to find one that started in September because we're just trying to be a little bit more organised with everything we have on the horizon. My due date is in about 2 months, so anything could happen at any time, and I couldn't find a calendar that started in September, so I was like, I'm just gonna make one. Then I thought maybe if you guys were looking for one as well, I've used all my tea drawings. This is a drawing theme I'm very into at the moment, is getting back into drawing tea. So yeah, I'll leave a link to that in the description below, but seeing as September's around the corner, I thought I'd better share that with you today. But yeah, otherwise I'm just gonna rest up. Rest and fluids, I think, are the best things for when you're not feeling well. Iwan is very much holding down the fort for us. So yeah, hopefully I'll be better next week, and maybe we'll even pick some more grapes just because I feel like I've missed out a little bit. I really love, it's always such a nice cycle of the year is when the harvest begins, so olive harvest, grape harvest. We do have fig harvest happening at the moment as well, which is one of my favourites, so that kind of rhythm of the year is something I really enjoy. So I feel like I've missed out a bit, especially because last year all the grapes failed, so we didn't get to do a grape harvest. So we'll see. I'll see if I can convince you on that we can make some more, or just, I know he's experimenting with some grape juice, so if that goes well, maybe we'll just make more of that. But yes, I will personally sign myself off here. I'm sure Iwan will continue on, but I'll see you next week. Please send me lots of healing energy.
Some tomatoes done. I'm going to try and do some more tomatoes. One thing that Nick told me, and it makes sense from my knowledge and experience of cooking, is that if I just freeze a load of cherry tomatoes, then they'll go a long way to kind of sourcing themselves in the defrost stage, which makes sense to me, so I'm going to do that. How much do you reckon this bag weighs? 4 grams. That's quite a lot. Right, so I just need to get the stems off them. I'm going to cut you here because you don't need to see this. So just one tiny little bowl, nearly 200 grams. So I'm going to bulk it out with some more of this morning's tomatoes. Nearly 400, that'll do. Don't know if we've got any good proficient canners in the audience, but I read that if you, because we don't have proper canning jars, and I'm sure you can't use just any old jar and lid, but I read somewhere on one of these canning forums that if you turn the jar upside down, then it kind of preserves it in the sense that there's no air can get through the lid. I think like someone said it was like what their Italian granny does. And I'm not sure whether that's just usual Facebook misinformation or not. But if anybody has any experience of that, please leave a comment. It's the only reason I've not done any not frozen tomatoes or not sun-dried tomatoes so far, but open to your collective wisdom. Right, next on the list is these grapes. Now I know you're probably guessing that I'm going to do raisins, but with these being wine grapes, they are absolutely full of seeds, like 4 seeds in each grape. So I will not be surgically removing all of those seeds. What do you reckon? What's your guess? It's 200. 400 altogether. Right, so I need more grapes. Right, worst thing about a recipe like this is I need to clean the grapes. Right, so I've done the grapes. So what we're trying to do is get rid of like natural yeast, floaty bits, any bugs. We've already had a couple of earwigs. Trying to get rid of any nasty grapes, but so far they're all looking really good. So and then what we'll do is I think get rid of the water and then pour them into a big bowl and then repeat until we've done them all. Not actually sure if I've even mentioned yet what we're making. We are making a grape juice. Not a super permanent one that's been like killed. It will ferment even in the fridge for after a week or so. Check that out for a bunch. Massive. It's an 809 gram bunch of grapes. Crazy. I don't know how well you can see this, guys, but you see this little spider here? That's a baby, tiny false widow. We don't want to get bitten by him, even though he's only little. Have you ever watched that YouTube channel? Is it Coyote Peterson or something like that? And he goes around getting bitten by all of these things, but big ones. He did a banded centipede. He said it was one of the most painful. We've lost him again. Danger grape juice. There he is. What are you doing there? There's been a lot more of these spiders around this year than there has in previous years. I don't know if you can make head or tail of this bunch, but these are why they're generally safe to wine grapes, because they're just very, very difficult to do anything with. Very messy. He was so little, I think even I would have fancied my chances against him. You may be asking, and you'd probably be quite right to ask, this question: why am I not just taking this juice out of the big bucket? And the reason is because in the big bucket we're doing natural wine, so we actually want to leave all of these bits and pieces because that gives us more natural yeast. Yeah, it's all good, part of the natural process. Whereas here we want this to keep and not ferment. And it will likely ferment anyway, but the process that we'll be putting it through will take away a lot of its ability to do that. So we've done this to 2 bunches, we've got to do it to a few more. So I will see you in the future. Okay, I'm not actually going to fit any more grapes in this at the moment, so I'm going to give it a bit of a mash. So you can either do this with your hands, or you can do it with a masher. I've not done it with a masher before, so it's going to be less messy, I think. It's not going to work very well, is it? No, let's get the hands involved. Right, so this now needs to go on the heat. Okay, so we basically need to get this to a simmer and leave it for 10 minutes. Smells incredible, guys. So that's been about 10 minutes. I'm going to turn this off. This is pretty much how the dogs spend the entirety of their days, taking up the whole sofa. Carissa isn't feeling too well today after her doctor's appointment. We were in there for about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. So anyway, I'm going to go to the pharmacy to go and pick up some medication for her. She's in bed and has been for most of the day. Been a rough few days for her. Yep, so I'll be back in a minute and yeah, see you in a bit. So now we have our finished, warmed, incredibly nice smelling grape juice mixture. Right guys, me and Frankie are going to leave you there. My back's gone from picking grapes, which it does every single time. So, we've just booked some physio. Classic, both me and Carissa are dropping like flies. It's only going to be you and Dodo left, sausage dog. Diogo looks after Carissa, because mummy's boy and all of that. And then we have the opposite, the sausage dog that doesn't leave the sofa. Anyway, I'm going to leave you there. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for the constant support. Ciao.